Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Theorist, here with your host, JC67, aka Vanity Pride. Today we are taking a look at Season 2, Episode 271 of Tower of God. And we started off with the Big Breeder, who formally introduced himself to Kun and Co. His name is Chung, and he manages this hidden floor. And so it got me wondering, now that we've cleared up that he is a Big Breeder and not Zahard, it has me wondering if he serves Zahard in the real world. Later on, which I'm actually not going to cover this in the review, but just a quick little snippet of it. Later on, the Big Breeder says something to Kun about, oh yeah, Zahard, he came here years before me, so I don't even know him, blah, blah, blah. Or I guess he didn't know him back then. But it's like, okay, is this guy lying? Because I really get a bad vibe, as you should too, get a bad vibe from this Big Breeder guy. I'm like, he's clearly got to be lying. Maybe he does know him in the real world as well. So, we'll see at some point. But anyway, this guy, he goes on to say, oh, I really appreciate you guys driving all of the evil energy out of this place, and I came here to present you with the grand quest. And just the look on his face here, I'm like, bitch, you don't fool me. You're gonna kill them. I just know this already. Because he's saying right here, so after resting for a moment, shall we get started with the grand quest? And as a sense of repose, like, he has the jesters sing Kun and Co. a song. Which is really funny because the way Kun reacts, he's like, oh my god, like, this is reposing, like, you know, now I feel I have to listen to this darn song. It's really funny. So, adding to that, though, it was just a weird thing that had popped into my head when he had requested the jesters to sing the song. It has me wondering if Chung is the one who cut up Battis's face and cursed Medley, who is, of course, Battis's daughter. So for me, I feel like that would be a pretty epic reunion to see, if that were true. And then, of course, it would lead to this, like, epic battle between Battis and Chung. So hopefully that happens. Even if they don't have a connection to each other from the past, like, still would be interesting to see them face off in battle. So anyway, we jump to Bomb and the others. So we start off with Coffee Addict and Andrasi. Andrasi is basically asking him, why do all these guards have to come with us? Can't we just take our little group in my bong bong and get the hell out of here? It would be much faster, more effective. Coffee Addict responds that he doesn't want to abandon his friends, these guards, which then makes one wonder, like Andrasi and Bomb did as well, how has such a nice kid become who he is in the actual tower today? And if you think about it, just the way he phrased it and said, oh, I don't want to abandon them, Coffee Addict sounds a lot like Bomb right now. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, does this foreshadow any potential changes in Bomb? You know, could he eventually become corrupt later on in the story? I mean, it's impossible to imagine that because Bomb is just so caring and so selfless that I could never imagine him becoming corrupt. I doubt it'll happen. But, I mean, you look at Coffee Addict right now, how kind he seems. And I mean, Zahard was probably the same way at some point. And it just makes perfect sense why Bomb's sworn enemy would be himself, because of the fear of changing like this, you know? There are countless others who have changed because of power. And you think about Hell Joe from the Floor of Death. Granted, I think he was like kind of manipulated, but you know, that happened as well, where, you know, he was this great guy, wanted to help out people, but became corrupted by power. So enough about that. The fruit starts to vibrate, and they realize, oh my gosh, it's the Big Breeder. He's made his appearance to the other heroes in the village, or to the heroes in the village, sorry. Because for the fruit, Bomb and Andrasi are the heroes. For the village, Kun and Co. are the heroes. So Battis sides with Andrasi and adds that they can stop the heroes on the outside from clearing the grand quest. They can defeat Big Breeder in turn and save everyone in the fruit. And Coffee Addict suddenly mentions that there's another path that they can take, which would get them out even faster, which is really convenient. I'm like, where the hell did this come from? SIU mentioned in previous 2 chapters that, you know, there was that long way that would take a full day to get through, or the shortcut, which would only take a quarter of the day to get through it. But now there's this other way out, and I'm like, where did this exit come from? It's too convenient. Too convenient. So anyway, I do want to pause on this image here. It's too dangerous for regular people, but for now, let's hurry. Everyone will die if those people on the outside complete the grand quest. Which confuses me a little bit, because if he is referring to the people in the fruit, they've died many times before. I mean, we've seen that with Coffee Addict and Battis, when they were talking to Baum and Andrasian like a few chapters back. They had mentioned that they had died before. So what difference does it make now? You know what I mean? Because especially before this part, one of the guards said to Coffee Addict that he knows they could end up being stuck in this place forever if Coffee Addict fails. But it just has me thinking, I'm like, okay, but wouldn't things have to reset with an appearance of every new hero? Because then where's the challenge for newcomers to the hidden floor? You know, what's the purpose of the gauge then? That gauge where it starts off half black, half sparkly. If it goes full black, then that means that the hero has failed. The fruit falls into the underground. If they do complete the grand quest and complete good things, then the gauge, of course, becomes all sparkly. And, you know, the village is saved. And, actually, I made a mistake. The fruit will remain there. Like, it will remain where it is if the hero fails. But if the hero succeeds, then it would go into the underground. But yeah, it's just, it confuses me a little bit. I will be completely honest. So it just kind of makes it seem like this is the last time that, like, the last chance that they have to either die forever or be able to live. So it's, to me, I'm thinking, are Coffee Addict and Battis and maybe these guards as well, and this includes Big Breeder as well, are they all pre-sensing something? You know, like I said before, are these the finals? Is this the final set of heroes that they're gonna get? Because, you know, if they fail this time, like, it's a forever thing. So yeah, the guards stay behind to fight. Battis, not Battis, Andrasi uses her bong bong to get their mini group out of that area. So we go back to Kun and Co. They are about to start the grand quest, but Kun asks about the data of young Zahard first. And this Big Breeder, just that smirk. And then Kun, see, even Kun is questioning this. Kun is too smart for this man. And yeah, basically, Battis, goddammit, I want to call him Battis so bad. Chung, aka the Big Breeder, he's like, oh yeah, Zahard's data somewhere on this floor, but I have no way of knowing where his data is. He also came to this place before I even existed. So, and then he concludes with, if you wish to find him, you're gonna have to, like, find him for yourselves. Which Kun, you know, feels that he's hiding something. And then to top things off, this dude is like, oh yeah, here's a champion villain that you're gonna face off in for this grand quest, and it's a tit bird. And it's a small tit bird too, so it's not very challenging. It turns out this bird is a level D villain, as opposed to that level G scroll that he was opening up. And then Big Breeder subtly admits that the previous quest was accidentally raised a level. And I'm just like, boy, yeah, you're a piece of shit. Like, don't even try to be subtle about that. But yeah, he reveals his true colors as well. In thought, at least. He's not gonna shout it out to them, but we get a sneak peek. Although, actually, I do want to see you clear the stage as quickly as possible and kill those companions of yours in that fruit of good and evil. Which before that he was saying, this is a place for welcoming you and sending you on your way since you've cleared the train. It's not a place for tormenting you. This is a small gift from me to you. It's a bunch of blah-bitty-blah bullshit. So Boro and Rock are ready to attack this titbird, but Kun is not having it. Kun is so suspicious of all of this, and he's telling them to hold off. So going back to Bomb and Co., Coffee Addict has cut a hole onto the ground and explains that there is a specific way they will need to exit. And on top of that, they may have to fight some robots if they happen to show up. So it's dangerous also in the fact that they have to land on precise spots. So, as explained here, this quarantine area is divided into 4 main shelters, and each of them has 1 exit. That's why you have to wander around for a very long time in order to reach the final exit. But when you think about it, the quarantine area is shaped like a sphere, and all of the exits face downward. Which means that if we can just figure out exactly where we would land, we could drop down by the shortest distance and pass through each shelter. Although we'll have to fight the soldiers who will hear the explosion and come running, as well as land at exactly the right spot, of course. So it's pretty complex, but they do it easily enough. So it's no surprise there. Now back with Kun and Co., Kun is still delaying their attack. Rock is being driven crazy by this. And the big breeder, it's no big deal for him. He's still smirking because they will complete the quest soon enough, and the delay isn't affecting anything in any way. But he just does not anticipate how awesome Bomb is and that he's going to break through that door. So, back with Bomb and Co., speaking of which, they reach that door. Bomb is able to open it with ease. And Coffee Addict is super thrilled about this. And in his mind, he is thinking, this is the guy, V. Which means that Coffee Addict has met Bomb's dad before. And I really believe that V is Bomb's dad. Because that was the guy that Bomb's mom was involved with. The guy that Zahard hated so much. So it's clear that V has mentioned Bomb to Coffee Addict before. I mean, I don't know if V ever got to meet Bomb, if he knew his name, but at least he had mentioned to Coffee Addict that someone was going to come and help salvage this floor and all that. So hopefully get more of a backstory from Coffee Addict's perspective about V later on, because that would be really cool. We only got to see like a few images of V when what's her name, Garam, when Garam was telling Bomb about his mother and V. So the chapter concludes with Big Breeder getting a message from someone else warning him that the group in the quarantine area has broken through the door and has escaped. And once Bomb and Co. reach the outside, there's a view. You can see the chimneys in the distance, and this forces Battis to have a flashback to a woman named Rose, but it looks like D. So this has me thinking, okay, is she Medley's mother? Obviously, Battis and D in that case would have had a past together, or, you know, if this isn't D, maybe it's D's twin. So there could be a D and a Rose, but we'll have to wait to find out. So that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Looking forward to it. Have a great rest of your week. Peace.